Hey everyone, let's do Leetcode number 1, toSum. So we're given an array of integers nums and an integer target, and we want to return the indices of two numbers such that they add up to target. You may assume that each element would have exactly one solution, and you may not use the same element twice. So let's just kind of take a look at this first example. So here we have like 2, 7, 11, and 15, and the target is 9. So pretty much we just want to find which of the two numbers within this list add up to target, right? So that's all we're doing. So if we just look at this, we could quickly see that the 2 and 7, that gives us target. So that's all we got to return. And we want to return 0 and 1 because we want to return the indices. Okay, now if we look at example number 2, something very similar, right? We have 3, 2, and 4, and our target is 6. So which of the two numbers gives us 6? Well, that's just going to be the 2 and 4. So this problem, conceptually, it makes sense. We just want to find the two numbers that gives us the sum. So let's see how we can solve it. So let's kind of look at this example here that I've drawn out, right? So we have 11, 5, 7, 2, and 8, and our target is 9. We obviously know it's going to be 7 and 2 here, right? So I guess my first intuition would be kind of say, like, what is the brute force approach? How can we solve this in a brute force fashion? Well, imagine that we kind of start at the 11, right? From the 11, what are all the pairs from 11, right? So we have like 11 and 5, and we have like 11 and 7, we have 11 and 2, and 11 and 8. So we could kind of just try to find every single pair for every single element, and in each of those pairs, see if the sum is equal to our target. And if it is, we just return. So in this brute force approach, here we can kind of say like this 11 and 5, does that equal to 9? It doesn't. Like 11 and 7 doesn't, right? 11 and 2 doesn't, 11 and 8 doesn't, right? So now we know that from 11, none of those pairs is equal to a 9. So let's move on to the 5. So from 5, do we first look at 11 and a 5? We do not, because we already checked for that, right? And what about this? Do we do 5 and 5? We can't, because we can't use the same element twice. So from the 5, we would do 5 and 7, and then 5 and 2, and 5 and 8. And these are all the pairs from the 5, and we see that none of them is equal to a 9. So now, when we go to the next element, so we start from the 7, and we're like, okay, what about 7 and 2? Well, this does equal to 9. So now we can quickly just return this, and we just want to return the indices of this. So the indices of this is what? It's just going to be a 2 and a 3. So now, what is the time complexity of this? So using this brute force approach, right? So in this brute force approach, where we have like 2 for loops, right? Because in essence, we're going to find all the pairs. What is the time complexity? So time complexity of this is going to be big O of n, because we have n elements, right? We're going to be checking every single element, and then every single element, we're going to be looking at every other element, right? So like, for example, you know how from the 11, we're going to check from the 5 to the 7 to the 2 to the 8, right? So we're going to be checking every single element. So that's going to be n times n, which means this is going to be an n squared solution. Now, what about space? Well, because we're just using 2 pointers, this space is just going to be big O of 1. So this is how we do it for brute force. So now, for the follow-up question is, can we solve this algorithm in less than n squared time complexity? So in essence, like, is there a more optimal solution? So let's take a look at that next. Let's assume that we are at the 11, right? So if we're at the 11, 11 plus what is equal to 9? Well, we know that needs to be a minus 2. So that just kind of means that, like, if we are at the 11, if we have seen a minus 2 before, then we know that we have found a pair that is equal to target. So in this example here, like, you know, we could probably have this scene box, which is just going to track all the values we have seen so far. So when we are at the 0 index, we know scene is empty. So that means the first value will never be valid. So we're going to say, hey, you know, like, does minus 2 exist in scene? And it doesn't. Well, now we're going to put the 11 here because we have seen it. And then now we're going to iterate to the next value. So we're going to go to the next one. And then now we're at the 5, right? So we're going to be like 5 plus what is equal to 9. And then we know that this here is going to be a 4. So then the question is, well, like, does 4 exist in here? It doesn't. So now we're going to move the 4 in here because we mark it as seen. And then now we're going to go to the next element. I'm just going to keep iterating down the list. Or I'm sorry. This here should be a 5. So now we're going to iterate down to the 7. We're going to be like, okay, like 7 plus what is equal to 9? This is going to be a 2. So the question is, like, does 2 exist in here? It doesn't. Now, the 2 does exist over here, but you got to remember, we are at the time point here. So we only look at things before it. And at that time point, the 2 does not exist in here. All right? We're going to move the 7 in here because we have seen it. And then we're just going to keep repeating, moving down the line. So now we're going to move down to the next element, and that's going to be the 2. So we're going to be like, okay, like 2 plus what is equal to 9? Well, this is going to be a 7. So then my question is, does the 7 exist? And it does. It's right here. So that means when we are at the 2, we have found a solution. We can simply just return. Now remember, we're not returning the elements, so we're returning the index. So what that means is in our scene, we need to actually be storing the element and the index. So in this case, it's going to look something like this, right? We're just going to be like 7 and 2. So these are just going to be like tuples of like the value and then the index. We're simply just going to return 2 from here and then the 3, which is where we are at right now. So this is our answer. Now let's look at our time complexity and space complexity. So what is our time complexity? We are still going through every single element. So we know it's going to be at least big O of n. And then in each element, we are looking into the scene box to see if it exists, right? So if we implement scene as a dictionary, we know we could do lookup in big O of 1 time. So this would be big O of 1. Similarly, when we move to the 5 and we look in here, this is all going to be big O of 1. Same over here, big O of 1. So this is all going to be big O of 1. So that means our total time complexity for this solution is big O of n. Now what about space? The space is we are now implementing the scene dictionary. That means our space is now going to be big O of n. We have reduced our time complexity, but we have increased our space complexity. Okay, so let's code it up now. Okay, so let me show you how to solve this in the brute force approach first. So remember the brute force approach, we're going to be using 2 for loops. We're going to be checking for every pair and see if their sum equals to target. So to do this, we need to first kind of say for I in range, for I in range of length of nums. So this is going to be our first element in that pair, and now we need to get the second element in that pair. It's going to be like, okay, like for j in range of length of nums, right? But wait, so in this case here, if we have I going from this range and then we have j going from that range too, we're gonna have some repeated work, right? So here we want to say for I plus 1 to length of nums. If we just had I here, this here would give us the potential duplicate. So that would be kind of like, for example, in the first element, that would be like you check the 2 and then the 2 again. So that's why you need I plus 1. And then now you're going to be like, okay, you could kind of just say like if nums of I plus nums of j, if this is equal to our target, then we know we have found a pair. And because there's exactly one solution, we can just return that pair right away. Now remember, we're returning the indices, not the actual value. So we're going to be returning I and j. And then that's it. So let's just run this and see if this works. So we run it and we see that it works. Let me now show you the more optimal solution. So this is now going to be more the optimal solution. So here we're going to have a scene dictionary to track values that we have seen so far. So the first thing we need to do is kind of create this dictionary. And I like to use default dictionary so that we don't have any crazy edge cases. So this here is just simply just going to store value to index pairs. And then now the first thing that we want to do is we just want to be iterating through this nums array. So we're going to be like for I in range of length of nums. And then from here, we're going to get our what. We want to find what is our complement, right? Our x value. So we're going to be like complement. This is going to equal target minus nums of I. So nums of I is this, and our target is this. So over here, our complement is going to be a 7. So we're going to say if complement is in scene. So if the complement is in scene, that means we have found a valid pair and we can return. Well, from here, we're going to be, okay, we want to return the pair. So we're going to return I and what? And we want to return scene of the complement because complement is the value, but we want the actual index. So that's why we got to do this. So that's the case if it is in there. But if it's not in there, what do we want to do? So remember from the example, we want to store the value within the scene dictionary. So we're going to be like scene of value. So that's nums of I. This is going to equal to I because so we want to store the value. So this is the value and we want to store the index of it within our dictionary. So that when we go to the next I, we could kind of see if this value exists and so forth. So let's run this and see if this works. Okay, this works. Let's submit it. Okay, perfect. But yeah, so that's the way to do it.